How do you scale a billion-dollar tech company without a physical HQ and still keep culture and innovation intact? Well, my guest today is the co-founder and CRO of a company called Nerdio. And together we're going to unpack the remarkable rise of this cloud automation company that all started as a conversation at a Microsoft conference and now supports more than 5 million users globally. So, from Joseph's decision to leave a 23-year career at Microsoft to the systems Nerdio uses to drive connection across a fully remote team, we'll explore what it takes to build something big without losing the human touch. And we'll also talk about how AI, cost optimization, and simplifying IT management are shaping the future of enterprise cloud strategy. But enough from me. Let me officially introduce you to Joseph now. So, a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell everyone listening a little about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thank you for having me. It's certainly great to be here. My name is Joseph Landis, and I'm one of the two founders of a company called Nerdio. I'm the chief revenue officer, so I take care of sales and marketing and a bunch of other things throughout the day. I spent 23 years working at Microsoft, and then in 2018, I was fortunate enough to meet my co-founder, Vadim Vladimirsky, at the Microsoft Partner Summit called Inspire. We hit it off. I loved the idea that he had. I had been thinking of something somewhat similar while I was at Microsoft, and we decided to get together and build a company together. So that's a little bit about who I am.
Oh, what a great story. And after recording, 3,500 interviews on here, I'm always fascinated by the origin stories of my guests. There always seems to be a moment of serendipity, two people put in a room or sat next to each other on a plane, almost like the universe gives the right people that right nod at the right time. But take me back to that first meeting at that Microsoft conference. How did that moment evolve into building essentially a billion-dollar cloud company from that accidental meeting?
So we were introduced by a mutual acquaintance of ours named Brett Maxwell. Brett runs a VC in Chicago called MK Capital. Brett was someone who my father actually knew and introduced me to probably 20 years before that, and served as a mentor to me throughout many years and jobs at Microsoft. And Brett reached out to me and said, "Hey, are you going to be at Microsoft Inspire? I'm going to be there, and there's actually a portfolio company of mine that I'd love for you to meet." I said, "Sure, I would love to see you. I'd love to meet the company." And he brought me over to the booth at Microsoft's Partner Conference, where I saw the team. I met Vadim. I got a demo of their product, and I said, "Wow, this seems like something that Microsoft can really use, that I could use at Microsoft to really drive the Microsoft Azure business in the SMB space." So after the conference, I spent a bit of time trying to figure out, how would we get Nerdio into Microsoft? How could we leverage it there? And Vadim and I kept in touch. And then at some point he said, "Why have you thought about leaving Microsoft? And maybe we could just build a software company together." And honestly, I had not thought about leaving Microsoft. I was there 23 years. I had built up a certain amount of tribal knowledge, I guess, as you could call it. Was having a good time, but I felt that trying to build something myself, as opposed to having all the resources of Microsoft, would certainly be a challenge, and one that I would probably look back on one day and feel proud of, whether it was successful or not. So I said yes to Vadim, and I joined up with him November 1st, 2018, and we've been partnering ever since.
I just absolutely love stories like this. And from that moment, Nerdio went on to empower MSPs and enterprise IT professionals to deploy, manage and optimize virtual desktops in Microsoft Cloud. But Nerdio has also, more recently, you've secured $500 million in Series C funding. So what does this mean? What does that investment unlock for your roadmap and where you're focusing next?
Well, first of all, I think it certainly gives, I think, a lot of kudos to the team. The people who've been with us on the journey for a long time, working hard every day at Nerdio. I think it's a tremendous feeling for all of them. And I think that that was something that Vadim and I both felt very proud of for our employees. And I think it was great validation for the path that we laid out to empower managed service providers, IT professionals, clients, partners all over the world to be successful with the Microsoft Cloud. It went from an idea that we had in 2018 to, as you said, raising a $500 million Series C and achieving unicorn status. I think it means that, we probably did something right, but I think it's also very humbling in the sense that we feel it's only the beginning of our journey. We have a long way to go in order to continue to delight our clients and our partners, and we certainly intend to do that.
The company has grown entirely remotely. So how have you managed to maintain such a strong culture and pace of innovation without a physical headquarters? I think there's so many lessons there for other leaders that could be listening.
Yeah, it's very difficult on one hand. And then on the other hand, the technology that we build really supports remote workers. So in a sense, you could say we're eating our own dog food.
Yeah.
But I think the point that you're bringing up really has a lot to do with culture. And we've been quite intentional about our culture from day one, making sure that we have clear values in the company, that we're communicating all the time, and that we have an emphasis on people owning things at every level of the company. Now, I certainly believe that people getting together and seeing each other on a regular basis is very important. And as we've grown, and we're over 350 employees now, all remote, we've been very intentional, as I said, to create moments for our team to get together. For example, we have a yearly company kickoff in January to make sure that the team sees each other and that we communicate the priorities of the year ahead. We've done some things that might seem small but have been quite powerful. We've looked at where we have concentration of employees, and we've appointed a mayor for each of those cities. So we have a mayor of the UK. I mean, as a country, but really it's a mayor of, let's say, London. We have a mayor of South Florida. We have a mayor of Nashville, Tennessee, and those people are responsible for communicating the culture, for bringing people together, for getting them together. We have something else that we call Nerdio Break Room, where we allow any employee who happens to be in a city to take another employee out, even if they don't work with them moment by moment. And it's even better if they don't work with them moment by moment, to get to know them and to share what they're each working on. So I think, working remote is a challenge in the sense that you don't get to see each other every day. But I think we have been smart about how we've gone after making sure that we create the opportunities for employees to remain connected to the company mission and connected to each other.
And I think it's so impressive what you've achieved here remotely, especially considering your work at Nerdio now, the scale of it. I mean, you support over 5 million users, including major enterprise clients. So I'm sure that it wasn't all plain sailing. So what have been the most pressing challenges that you're helping these companies solve in today's cloud landscape? There's so many big changes in the last 5 years alone. So what are the most pressing challenges that people are coming to you and asking for your help with?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I remember when we were supporting 1,000 users, so It's quite amazing that we're supporting over 5 million users now. I think that when you look at enterprises or organizations, really even of all sizes, from the smallest business in the world, the 2-person doctor's office, to the largest, let's say, hotel chain in the world, we're proud that we can help them solve challenges. We're helping enterprises optimize their Microsoft Azure environments. We're helping them save money. Lots of organizations struggle with cloud complexity and rising costs, and we bring our automation and policy-driven governance to really help them spend the right amount of money on the right things. We really help them maximize the investments that they're making in Microsoft desktop as a service or Windows in the cloud. Ultimately, I think enterprises love automating things. They want to simplify things. From day one of our core values, we call it 3-click management. We always want to land on the side of making things more simple for organizations. And we do that. And it's what we wake up and we think about every day. We will always land on the side of helping organizations act in a simpler way and save as much money as they can. And I think we're proud of the work that we do in those regards every day.
And as a former Microsoft executive in corporate America, I'm curious, what unique insights did that give you to bring into the startup world? And how did that shape Nerdio's partnership strategy with Microsoft? Because as Steve Jobs once said, you can connect the dots looking forward, but you can only connect them when looking back. When you do look back, what do you see here?
Yeah, well, first of all, there was a personal challenge of mine going from working in really arguably one of the largest and most successful software companies, in the history of business, to starting a company with two people. And I had to have a complete mind shift change or mindset change, excuse me, around how to approach work every day and how to accomplish things without a huge force of people behind me. Microsoft is the closest partner that we have at Nerdio. And one of the things that Microsoft, I think, has always been amazing at is leveraging the partner ecosystem to drive innovation and customer value. And that's something that we believe very, very deeply in at Nerdio. We wake up every day and we think about how to enhance and extend what Microsoft is doing. We don't compete with Microsoft. I think a lot of software companies get into this funny place with Microsoft where they try to build something better that Microsoft has built. We're not doing that. We're taking the native products that Microsoft has built and we try to enhance and extend them and make them even better, and to be able to have them adopted even faster by organizations of all sizes. For me personally, understanding how Microsoft works, I think has allowed us to move faster, to navigate their company. Microsoft makes a lot of changes every year in terms of their strategy, their sales force, how they compensate people. And I think that connection that we have with Microsoft really across the company, whether it's engineering, sales, marketing, customer success, and with many executives there, ultimately, I think delivers better outcomes for our joint customers.
And of course, the cloud IT space has become increasingly crowded, fast-moving and indeed complex with multiple instances of public, private and hybrid cloud. So what strategies would you say have helped Nerdio stand out from the crowd in this crowded market and also continue scaling at the level that you have?
Yeah, I think that, one could say that our DNA is rooted in desktop virtualization. There's certainly, if you're a software company, there's a lot of places that you can play when it comes to cloud. Cloud is such a huge topic. Even Microsoft Azure is such a huge topic. But we've chosen to focus really on Azure Virtual Desktop, Windows 365, cloud endpoints. And within that, we've prioritized automation, cost optimization, and as I mentioned before, simplicity, all areas that we think deliver real value for our customers. And we have, I would say, a very customer-centric approach. We build features directly based on customer and partner feedback, and we feel like we're a very agile company that takes the feedback we get from customers and quickly turns it into features.
And talking to you today, you come across as someone that's incredibly passionate about the work, but equally also very humble. And building a unicorn is a major milestone. So how do you allow yourself to stay grounded and stay focused during periods of hypergrowth like this? So there must be a side of you that wants to pinch yourself sometimes, but you've been on this path for a while. I'm curious, what's your secret?
Yeah, I think the way to stay grounded even through challenges, is to remain an outside-in company. It's something that Vadim and I talk about all the time. It's something that our company talks about as really a shared value. Being an outside-in company, what does that mean? It means that we wake up every day and first and foremost, we listen to what our customers and our partners want. And that is what drives us, whether it's, again, a new feature, whether it's a training that they need, whether it's a particular way that they like to read messaging from us. We always start from the outside in. We always think about what does the customer and the partner want. We listen to them, and then that's how we act. It doesn't mean that we don't have our own ideas. We certainly do, but we're always constantly validating them against the feedback that we hear from customers and partners. And I think if you do that, you always remain grounded, because I always tell my team, if you want the truth, go talk to a customer. They'll tell you what the truth is. Lots of companies, I think, make the mistake of, people talk about the proverbial ivory tower. We could just sit here and we could come up with all the value for our customers and partners, and they never leave the ivory tower. I like that I try to spend about 70% of my time with customers and partners in the field, because I feel like that's where the truth is, and that's what really drives our company forward.
And 5 years ago, the world was forced to work remotely at a global scale. Then hybrid working followed. Then AI, agentic AI now, and quantum computing is waiting on the horizon. Looking ahead, what trends in cloud automation and optimization do you think will once again reshape enterprise IT over the next few years?
Wow, there's so much. I mean, certainly you have to start by thinking about AI. AI is going to change not just the products we deliver, but certainly the way that we work, and it's changed a lot of the ways that we work, whether it's developing our products or creating go-to-market materials or thinking about how to reach out to customers. So I think every entity out there, every organization out there needs to be thinking about the impact of AI on the products they deliver, but even more than that, the processes that they run in their own company. I think, and we think that cost optimization will be a continuous process. It's not a one-time effort. We see very much that when we are able to save an organization money, they typically take a lot of that savings and they plow it back into incremental resources that they need to run their company. So, the investment, for example, in AI, it's got to come from somewhere. If you're able to go to a company and say, gosh, I could save you, not 5 or 10%, but I could save you 70% on the cost of running your virtual desktops, they're going to take certainly part of those savings and look at what is the next area of investment for them. So I think that cost optimization will be something that's not just a one-time thing, but that is a continuous piece of value that we deliver. And then I also believe that the simplicity that we talked about before, the ability to get things done faster, to automate as much as you possibly can, ultimately to make the lives of IT professionals easier. And as I like to say, make the IT professional into a hero in their organization is something that will continue to be a trend in our ecosystem and something that we focus on at Nerdio.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to share your invaluable insights with everyone listening around the world today. But before I let you go, I'm going to ask you to leave one final gift for our listeners. I have a Spotify playlist where I ask my guests to leave a song that means something to them and why. And equally, we have an Amazon wish list with a book that you can recommend or add to that list. So I don't mind what it is, but what is that final gift you'd like to leave and why?
All right, so I'll do both. So my favorite book that I've ever read is called A Fine Balance by Rohinton Mistry. I was fortunate enough during my Microsoft career to spend 3.5 years living in India. And when I moved to India to lead the developer evangelism team there, I wanted to learn as much as I could about India. And somebody recommended this book to me. And honestly, it was the first book that I ever read, and probably since, where I cried multiple times reading the book. It gave me such a great sense of the uniqueness of India, the people there, the power of the country, and how gracious the people that I met over there are and continue to be. So I highly recommend that book. I think I've given it out as a gift 25 or 30 times to people. When it comes to your Spotify playlist, I'm also very lucky that my cousin is the lead singer for a quite famous band called Wilco.
Oh, wow.
So I will just Jeff Tweedy and his wife Sue Miller Tweedy. So I recommend anything by Wilco. You should put it on your Spotify playlist. One of my favorite songs is called One Sunday Morning. I would highly recommend that, but really anything from their collection is great.
Yeah, such a great band, and they played a lot with Billy Bragg over here in the UK as well. So
they did, yeah. Billy Bragg and Wilco collaborated. Billy Bragg was actually one of my favorite artists during university. I felt like he was great. Actually, Wilco and Billy Bragg have a very famous song called "California Stars" that I highly recommend as well. But Billy Bragg is a classic.
Oh, absolutely love that. I will get that added to the Spotify playlist and indeed the book. And of course, for all things Nerdio, you're going through such a great phase at the moment and so much success and continuing on that as well. Incredibly bright future. I'd love to get you back on next year and see how that journey's continuing to evolve. But before we get there, for anyone listening, where can they find out more information?
Yeah, I mean, they could certainly find me on LinkedIn. They could shoot me an email at jlandys@getnerdio.com, and they could visit our company at getnerdio.com, getnerdio.com, and they can learn anything they want about our company there. And we would love to be interactive with as many of your listeners as we can.
Awesome. Well, I will add links to everything, and so much gold in our conversation today from that very unique journey from a meetup to a 1 billion cloud automation optimization enterprise. Some strategies that you shared there for success in the rapidly evolving cloud space. And most importantly, I think we often get distracted by the technology, but the way that you've fostered innovation and culture in a fully remote environment and how that has fueled your tremendous success is so many big lessons there as well. But more than anything, just thank you for sitting down with me and sharing that story. Thank you.
Well, thank you. It was a pleasure being on your show. Congratulations on interviewing more than 3,500 people. That's absolutely amazing. And I look forward to being on your show again.
So, as cloud costs climb and AI transforms every corner of enterprise IT, will simplicity finally win out over complexity? I think Joseph's reflections on being an outside-in company, listening more than assuming, and turning feedback into features all offer a very grounded reminder that tech only works when it solves real problems. I think it also shows the power of going to a tech conference. What a great story there, from meeting at a Microsoft tech conference to building a unicorn. So maybe if you're listening to this, be more open to little hints and nods from the universe and embrace those serendipitous moments when you're out there. But on a technical front, is cloud automation hitting its stride, do you think? Or are we still underestimating just how much IT professionals need tools that are built with empathy and speed in mind? Love to hear your thoughts. Please join the conversation. techblogwriter@outlook.com, on LinkedIn, Instagram, X. I'm just at Neil C. Hughes. Nice and easy to find there. So a big thank you to my guest today for really bringing this topic to life. Such an inspiring story. I'd love to hear your inspiring story if you have one, so please let me know. Other than that, it's time for me to prepare for tomorrow's guest, so I will speak with you all very soon. Bye for now.